Hi guys, welcome to Rootstem, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Dominatus campaign deck. Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me. If you do like the content, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing and all the good things that you can do here to content creators on YouTube. But that being said, let's get right onto it. Why am I creating a video regarding Dominatus? It's because I haven't personally seen a lot of people talking about this campaign deck. So I thought I'd actually give it a go, being quite a narrative player myself. So the Dominatus deck is something that's going to be replacing the old school Crusade, which not a lot of people have liked the idea of replacing a Crusade, although depending on what type of club and or shop or hobby area or hobby group that you have, there is some people out there that's never played Crusade because they just don't see the point in it. Now, being a narrative player myself, I've actually played quite a few of the Crusades. I've got quite a few of the Crusade books for 10th edition. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to transfer some of the rules and stuff of those across to 11th, because 11th is just an updated version of 10th. So it shouldn't be too hard to be able to create the new ones, especially the last one that they did with the Titus story. My brain is blanking at the minute because it's so hot and warm in the UK at the moment. But yeah, so basically that particular campaign with all the maps is actually pretty good. The other couple of books that came out after it are not great, but this is something that's very different to what has come before. So the idea behind it is to give your forces a reason to be fighting on Armageddon. Now, weirdly, the actual little booklet is all right. It kind of does explain stuff in a very simple way. It doesn't really go on to explain how you would be able to change the game to be able to fit more of your own games, but I'll be doing that later on in this video. So technically what you get with the whole entire deck is that you get 27 agenda cards, you get 9 agenda achieved. You don't really need all 9, but that's just in case you've got multiple players using one deck. You also get 9 briefing cards, 9 location cards, and 35 upgrade cards, which consists of battle honors, battle skills, and relics. So instead of like in Crusade, where you had to create a starting force of 1,000 points, then build onto it, and all of your units then got skills and battle scars, I've kind of got rid of that to basically allow you to use whatever forces you want. This might be a easy way of making sure that people are not going to be abusing an enhancement slash relic system that's currently that was currently in the Crusade, where you could literally take any enhancement from any detachment you wanted. There's a lot more weird enhancements that can then be put onto units, which in my opinion kind of knocks off some of the skill stuff that you could get with Crusade. But digressing into a different type of talk, yeah, it's kind of simplified that without having to have a hell of a lot of bookkeeping. The actual booklet itself tells you how to create and prepare your campaign by giving you a default campaign set that tells you how many battles they recommend that you play, what size games, by giving you a default battle schedule, depending of course upon the size and group of your players. This is not ironclad, mainly because there is some of the phase 3 cards, which they're calling the final mission phase, in that sequence. I don't understand why you can't throw in some other types of games in there, why you wouldn't be able to have some boarding actions maybe, or combat patrols and smaller size games. It's very basic what they're telling you can't do. You're also supposed to have initially 2 forces, mainly liberators and oppressors, but you can also stick in raiders in there. For me, if you wanted to, you could be whichever. You don't have to stick with what they're stating. It does state in the Liberators, because it is based on attacking Armageddon, but it does state that the Liberators is the Imperium and the Oppressors is stuff like Orcs. You could swap that round if you wanted to, have it from the Orcs perspective. That'd be quite funny. Or you could have it where if you've both got Imperial forces, say one of you's got Space Marines, the other one's got Guard, one of you's been, you know, has been targeted as being traitors, so they could be the Liberators, and the Space Marines that's coming after them could be the Oppressors. It doesn't have to necessarily match what camp, you know, you're creating your own story here, you're just setting it on Armageddon. Although this particular deck or set of items is quite easy to change the stories, and even with the location cards you could even change the name of the locations if you wanted to, just having the same effects on those locations. So what I'm going to do is to run you through how you set up your campaign. So to start the campaign with, what you have to do is to figure out what location you're going to be fighting in. As you can see, you've got different locations to use in different phases. So it doesn't allow you to really go above phase 3, but it has phase 1 cards, it has phase 2 cards, and then has phase 3 cards. The cards that are in front of us, we've got the Mannheim Gap with particular war zone rules. We've got the, I can't even pronounce that base. I do like, being dyslexic sometimes can be really hard when playing. Can be really difficult playing 40 game. But the second one gives you completely a different sort of keyword. So Shrouded Smoke would be something that you would actually use in every single game, especially with the Ash Clouds. And then Tunnel Fighters is going to be for your Hive Subsprawl mission. I would even suggest maybe if you wanted to, you could even try and theme your terrain to these locations while playing the games. Maybe not include some of those particular Warzone rules when doing like boarding actions, maybe not even on combat patrol, but they will be quite handy and interesting to use. At the back of the cards, you then have bonuses. So whoever wins that particular location or phase would then earn that bonus going forward in the actual campaign, which could be quite useful. It does say alliance, so if you've got more than you've got a group of players playing, they might be in a group of Liberators, they might actually be in a group of Oppressors. That whole entire group will get that bonus, but also you count towards your wins and losses. I'll explain that in a moment, but this is how you would start the game. You would basically start with a phase 1 card that you have randomly selected, because unfortunately you can't shuffle it, but you would randomly select it. For me, it says roll a d6, but you could do that in any particular way that you wanted. Start with your phase 1, and then once you've completed, roll on for your phase 2. Once you have your campaign's location, you go into your phase 1, or whichever phase you're going to be doing, briefing step. This is a little card with, of course, the symbol of your alliance at the top right-hand corner, the phase number next to it, and just a tiny bit of a single paragraph or a couple of sentences just telling you what you are doing in this game. It also gives you the option to get agendas. Now, agendas are bits that kind of add to the game. You do need to claim agendas to be able to get certain things like relics and skills. You also get agenda points, which then allows you to win certain victories. The force dispositions do tell you what type of agendas you are going to be going for. Although for me personally, if you've only got 2 of you and you both tend to run the same army all the time, I would personally start to randomize what agenda cards you actually are taking, or have it where your first game is you take that agenda card, but if you're wanting to do another agenda, because you don't have to, I'll explain that in a moment, but if you want to do another agenda, then you have to do one of the others that you have not yet achieved. Once you've read your little briefing card, and of course you know what the location is that you'll be fighting over, this is when you can start playing your games. So of course, whatever games master you're going to have, hopefully has created their default battle schedule, letting you know how many games are want to be played in each particular phase. If you don't know any, I suggest just going with the Games Workshop one, the default one, start with that straight off. But then, once you know how many games you're playing, just organise yourself the quick game, and then set up the table as normal. So there's not really much in the way of changes to the regular games of 40k using this system. Probably why I'd have done it, because it's very much, not narrative, but it's very much like a tournament that you could run with a slight narrative to it. I would recommend using the twist cards every time you play a game in this sequence, because it will make it a little bit more exciting, but you're also going to get kind of a twist with the location cards as well. So before you start a game, you then read aloud the location card, and of course what the location card then means to the actual players playing the battle. So if you've got Mannheim Gap as an example, you will be playing with canyon walls and rock falls. So your battlefield edges that are not on the attacker or defender's battlefield edge are canyon walls, and when a unit makes an ingress move, models in the unit cannot be set up within 6 inches of a canyon wall unless they have fly or deep strikes. So that kind of really stops people from being able to come round and into different locations. Doesn't stop it from coming to your own half light, but there we go. When a unit ends a move within 6 inches of a canyon wall, make a hazard roll for that unit, so you can get some mortal wounds while getting too close to the battlefield edges. The agenda cards, if you're deciding that you are going to be playing with an agenda cards, these kind of replace your primary mission. So if you go for an agenda card, your primary mission is now the agenda. Now the agenda cards themselves are quite straightforward, as you can see from the Planet 4 one. One or more friendly units made an ingress move this turn and was set up within range of an objective, 3 victory points. Second battle round onwards, holding your home objective, you control one or more objectives, you control one or more other objectives, 7. There's quite a few points on this, but that is an agenda card. That's going to give you your primary mission instead of doing the ones from the book. I've said that before, I know, so I do apologise for repeating myself. It's just some people may need to know that. The established contact one for the different factions. Each faction's got 3 different agendas to do. When you're first playing it and it's your first run through, just stick to your actual force, even though some of the others look pretty cool. Just stick to your force, carry on being whatever section you want him to be, and don't mix them up. Again, these are all on phases, so if you look at the bottom right of the actual corner, you've got a phase 1 agendas, this phase 2 agendas and phase 3 agendas. If you played a few games, you can always mix and match and try and bring them up using your briefing card just to tell you what mission you're going to be looking for. At the back of the agenda cards tells you how to achieve these agendas. Now, pretty much all of the agendas have 35 victory points from this primary mission. So if you score 35 from a primary mission, you are going to be achieving that objective. And the secondary one is a bit more fluff based, I suppose. You can, for example, on the established contact, you've recovered the agent. Don't matter if you win or lose the game, but you recovered the agent, and therefore you've managed to achieve your agenda. So agendas don't necessarily mean that you've got to win the game to be able to achieve them. You just have to do what it states at the back of the actual card. If you achieve your agenda, you are then given one of these agenda cards. Now, you get 9 in the deck. There's 3 for each faction. They are pretty much the same. They don't have anything on the back of the card apart from a little bit of a symbol to show you what section it is you're actually looking at. And they then tell you at the end of phases 1 and 2, you can shuffle the Liberator's deck and then turn over a number of cards equal to the number of agendas achieved. You could select one of the relic cards to keep. Relic cards are battlefield honors. I'll get to those in a moment. But effectively, these are just a nice little way of cleanly making sure that people know how many agendas have actually scored during the campaign phase. Maximum you can hold is 3. You can never have more than that. So if you are deciding that you are going to be playing with the agendas, these are the ways that you're going to be able to achieve relics. Once you've decided if you're doing a standard mission or an agenda mission, you then, in your declared battle formation step, can choose up to 3 upgrade cards. Now, upgrade cards are earned through the game. Again, we know, as you've seen previously, that to achieve the relic ones, such as the oppressor / orc one at the left hand side here, you would need to achieve at least agendas to be able to achieve it. There's not that many different relic cards. I think there's about 3 or 4 for each faction. Oh, sorry, there's about 5 for each faction, and each of them do different things. They are quite difficult to get hold of because you only get 1 per phase, so you're never going to have more. But if you're doing a 3-phase campaign, which it doesn't have any more cards for that, so you can't really do any more than that, you're never going to have more than 2 relics in any game. But you need to achieve agenda cards, agenda missions, to be able to get those missions. Get those. You're going to have to achieve agenda cards to be able to get those relics. You've also got Battle Honours, which is the card on the right hand side. Battle Honours are achieved by winning games. So when you win the game, the winner achieves a Battle Honour card. These are based on phases. There's about 5 per phase. So to me, you should never really have more than 5 games per phase. But there's only 1 of each. Now, it does recommend that you do need each player needs to have a deck, but you could always solve that by just having a spreadsheet or something that tells what each player, what card they've drawn and what battle honor they've got. If it's on the side of a battlefield, you've both got access to the card, so you both know what you're doing. And you can also use battle skills. As you can see here, lead from the front is 1 character model. The unit has scouts 6. You do that when you're declaring your battle steps, so that's after you've attached all the characters to the squad. So then whatever squad you're going to have is going to become a character. You can have a maximum. You can have loads of these cards. It doesn't have a maximum, but you can only use a maximum of 3 per game. And what you do during the battle step is that you just give cards to players. So if you've only got 1 battle honor, you can use it in every game that you've got if you want, or a battle skill. Battle skills are achieved by playing the game. So once you finish the game, whoever wins gets a battle honor. Whoever loses gains a battle skill. If the game is a draw, then both players gain battle skills and none of them gain battle honors. Now, once you've played all of the games during the phase, each player counts up how many, or each player slash alliance or grouping then gathers up how many battle honors they've achieved, so they do count towards your victory as well, and the army with the most battle honors gains that location. Then once you've done that, you decide who is in ascendancy. It's quite important, and what that would do is you count up how many agendas each faction has achieved, and then the one with the most agendas are in ascendancy. Once you've done that, that's when you get your relic cards. You then shuffle all your relic cards. You draw that many relic cards to however many agenda cards that you have, and then you get to select 1 to keep for your faction force. Again, if you're playing with multiple people, just state that all orcs have this, and you could use it, or all oppressors have this particular relic. Then you can use it as part of your actual ongoing games. It might need a little bit more. If you've only got 1 deck, you might need a little bit more refinement, but it's not going to be too difficult to be able to do as long as your War Master's there for a lot of the games, or just takes a photo and make sure you keep note of it. So just before you move on to the next phase, what you do is you gain what's called a narrative point if you took control of a location, and you also get a narrative point if you are within ascendancy. As you can see from the cards, this then gives you your narrative outcome for that particular section. So if you are the oppressor and you manage to get 0 narrative points, your efforts to hold the invaders back have been woefully in vain. If you are the liberator and you manage to get 1 narrative point, you successfully carved out a breachhead on the surface of Armageddon. If you manage to get 2, then of course your forces have fallen upon Armageddon like a thunderbolt. Very good. Then you restart the phase for phase 2. All players then read the phase 2 briefing. You also select a brand new location from the phase 2 locations deck, and players give back their achieved agenda cards. So you're kind of resetting it, you're doing it all again, but now you've got relics, you've got battle honors, you've got battle skills. Now when you get to phase 3, there's only supposed to be one game in phase 3, which is why there is only one battle on a card, which is called Path to Conquest. Basically means that you've won the game. And that would be your simple way of playing a narrative game in Warhammer 40k. Now if you wanted to expand it a little bit, like I said, you could actually start chucking in some other games such as Combat Patrol, boarding actions. You could throw in some other mission packs for some of the other games themselves, just to try and create a bit of spice. You are not set to a particular army in this one. You could even state that you want to limit certain characters. So for example, if you use a special character in a battle in phase 1, you cannot then use that special character in phase 2 because they are at a completely different location on the campaign. You can add in bits where it states that you don't have to have the locations set to those phase locations. You could literally use any of the actual phase locations that you wanted. And you could even throw in some more battle honours from decks 1 and 2 if you wanted to extend phase 3 a little bit. Whereas, once somebody's got 2, for example, you could always say that during the 3rd phase, somebody has to earn the last battle honour for phase 1, a last battle honour for phase 2, and then they're allowed to get the phase 3 card. Is it as good as Crusade? No, it's not. It doesn't have the finesse. It doesn't have the intricacies. It doesn't have the feel of playing a large version of Necromunda. It's a bit too simple. It is for people that aren't very good at creating campaigns. But don't get me wrong, I think some people that are good at creating campaigns are going to be able to use this system and really expand upon it. If you've purchased the Armageddon box set and you've got the Dominatus card set, I don't recommend throwing it away. You can keep hold of it. If you are after it, probably look at getting it online somewhere for cheap, because I don't think it's going to be worth the value that Games Workshop's putting on it, especially when they said they're going to release more decks and more cards. It just really feels like a very simplified version of playing a narrative campaign. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did like the look of that, and it does help you be able to play the game and understand how you play the game, then kudos. If not, maybe campaigning and narrative is not for yourself, but you could always, they've still got the Crusade in the codexes. You can always go back and just use Crusade. Nothing stopping you from playing the mission deck without the secondaries, but I'll do that in a different video. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Like I said before, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button if you do want to see more, and we'll see you in the next video.